It's time for the MadDawg Show, coming to you from the heart of the Bulldog Nation. The MadDawg Show is proudly sponsored by Alex Smith Garden Design, Griffin Lumber and Hardware, The Sanford Company, Sellers Construction, Bib Distributing, Butler Automotive, Pelicano Construction, The Dog Bone, Go Clean Co., Macon Monogramming, Fincher's Barbecue, Bulldog Illustrated, Cranford Chiropractic, Walthall Oil. And now, here he is, the MadDawg.
Welcome back to the MadDawg Show, where we have our co-host UGADGD running back legend, Mr. Tim Worley. What's up, Tim?
What's going on, guys? The MadDawg, Dawgologist. What's happening?
Dawgologist. I was trying to think of. I think you're a sports whisperer, the man who knows all about all. The Dawgologist, sports whisperer. How do you like that? Is that good?
I mean,
No
I'm good with that. I'm just blessed with the love of the game. I guess God has given me that wisdom that I just retain stuff. I couldn't retain stuff in school, but sports stuff I can retain it.
Funny how that works.
Yeah,
that was my deal too.
Yeah.
Tim, haven't gotten to talk to you about the Texas game. Give us your thoughts.
I made a prediction. Matter of fact, I was communicating with your mother, Dave, and she was asking me how do I think we're going to play. I texted her back and said I think that we're going to play a complete game. Okay, and that was the best game we played all year against Texas. I think it was complete. I think we out physical them. You know, I think that's where it really kicked in. The physicality on our part was at a very high level. I loved it. I just like watching all three phases of the game kick butt. I love it.
Speaking of three phases, Tim, tell me your thoughts on the onside kick.
Listen, you know, I posted something right after they did that. I just posted something. I said, Coach Smart, that was beautiful. You know what I mean? Because I thought it was brilliant. Because the special team guy or one of the coaches saw something that was there. Okay. Now here's the thing that surprised me. Why couldn't he just advance the ball all the way into the end zone?
Isn't that a college rule that you can't advance an onside kick?
Okay,
I think you can, but he caught it and fell down. I mean, because what was it? We did return one against South Carolina a few years ago. Terry Godwin caught it and ran it to the end zone.
But he fell down on purpose. It ain't like he tripped. I think he realized, hey, I got it. I can just fall down. He could have scored.
He probably could have. Yeah. I mean, it was beautiful, and I could say as someone that was at the game, it caught me completely off guard. You know, because
ChatGPT confirmed in college football the kicking team cannot advance a recovered onside kick. The ball is dead wherever they recover it. But it was very cool the way he galloped and then turned around and slid on his back.
Yeah,
that looked cool.
Let me tell you what was genius, man, is the fact that number one, we already had the momentum. Okay. And number two, you pull that off and you just take all. I mean, you literally take the life out of a team when you do something like that.
Oh, they did.
You steal a possession, and it's like if you score, you not only put the knife in their back, now you're twisting it. Because at that point, it's a 3-score game. It's effectively over.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's over. And they knew it.
I think I heard somebody say that Georgia snatched their soul with that onside kick is essentially what they did. And I mean, I can say this from being at the game. Texas had some big boys. I mean, and you see the size of their guys compared to some of the people on our defensive line, and this is like, okay, like Tim said, we were more physical than them, but I think that goes back to the culture of your coach. And man, when you have somebody like Kirby and those guys that, like I said, playing the best ball, peaking at the right time, it's amazing to see, because there's games you watch or you go to that you're like, all right, this team is threatening us. There was never a time in that game that I felt like Texas was threatening us and they could really steal the momentum. Even once they scored after the interception, I was like, okay. I mean, we had to spot them the ball on the 35-yard line for them to be able to do that.
Guys, I got to be honest. Not one time did I think we were going to lose that
Yeah.
game. Like some games I think about, I'm like, man, I'm worried. I'm worried. You know what I mean? Like even the Auburn game, I'm like, I'm worried. But not one time in that 60 minutes of that game did I think we were going to lose that game.
And Kirby used every bit of that game and beyond into the press conferences as a recruiting tool. I mean, he's dropping stuff like, we're going to be down and dirty. We're going to be like the SEAL team that takes you to the water. We're going to bring the physicality. We're not just here for a check. Our offense is an anaconda and they're going to squeeze the breath out of you. I mean, just on and on and on. It was hard to keep up with it. And I was like, wow, offense is an anaconda. I think of maybe the defense is the anaconda squeezing the breath out of you, and the
Mm-hmm.
offense is more like a timber rattler, just attack, attack, attack. But it was like, man, it's hard to keep up with all this different stuff that Kirby is saying. You know, he's talking about, if you leave our team, you know what we're going to do? We're going to schedule you. We're going to put you on the schedule, and we're going to make you feel it. That is just cold, man.
Yeah,
It's
man.
awesome. He is such a gangster.
Overall, man, I think we were a lot quicker than them overall as a team because they really couldn't do too much unless it was a real long pass or something. They couldn't do too much with our defense. Even our offense. Our offense, man, those were offensive linemen. Did you see those guys running down hit field and knocking people on their butts?
Yep.
Number 71, what's that kid's name?
Ernest Green.
Oh my goodness.
Everybody's giving him a hard time this year, and he's battled back. And I mean, and that's the thing has been impressive to watch. You know, with Georgia's offensive line at any given series, it's not the same five guys.
That's
and
right.
even if it is the same five guys, they could be playing different positions. And I mean, really and truly, you think about the advantage as a offense that gives you, because no defensive personnel can say, all right, well, Gaston and Glover in there, that means they're going to run. All right, well, Glover's over here on the left side now. So, you know, it's a lot of gamesmanship, but just to see that offensive line gel and play the way they are, and see guys that, you know, fans have given a hard time to, like Ernest Green coming back and rallying back is huge. And there's a lot of young guys that Georgia has that are playing really good ball right now. You know, we talked about it earlier with DeMello Jones. I mean, the kid, I mean, gets his opportunity, and man, that little tackle that he made on the end around, I mean, he picked the dude up and threw him down.
Body
I'm like,
him. Yeah.
oh my goodness. So
That
it's
offensive
the
line
tone
is,
setter.
yeah, they're playing together, man. They're playing good. See, I like this here too. We got a father and son tag team. You know what I mean? Bobo was getting at it, man.
Yep.
His dad going at it up in the press box,
Yep.
and his son is on the field getting it. I love it.
Yeah, that's right, Tim. And nobody's really touched on what a cool story that is, right? And I think part of it is just all the negativism around Mike Bobo, which everybody, with that, I will say, you can't argue with results.
That's right.
Like the guy's putting up 35 points a game. His son is a quarterback of the O line. Somebody needs to do a story about that. Like that's just teed up for ESPN to do a cool story. I don't know why nobody's done it.
Well, it's a comeback story because last year they both struggled. I mean, everybody wanted Bobo's head last year, and we literally watched his son get whipped on the field. You know, so they do need to do a story. You're right, Dave. You're right.
And on his offensive line, I just got to say this: Dontrell Glover and Juan Gaston, those guys are not freshmen anymore. They look like they're juniors out there. They have the presence of juniors. They don't look like freshmen. I don't think of those guys as freshmen. They are just straight up ballers.
Yeah. Well, I think you said something earlier that I think is really cool in the climate that we're in now when you talk about Kirby, the pitches that he makes after the game, because as fans, you hear those things and they get you excited. You know, like the one he said, you know, some people want to check without physicality. He said at Georgia, we're going to hit people. We're going to be physical, you know, and you watch it like, all right, well, does he just say it? Well, no, look at, like you said, Juan Gaston, Glover, Elijah Griffin, DeMello Jones, these young freshmen that are coming out there that are getting their opportunities to prove that. And, you know, he's always recruiting. He's always saying things. And I think, you know, those are pitches that are being made to kids that, you know, you take the kid from Savannah Guyton that's considering Texas Tech because of money. All right, hey, go to Texas Tech. we're going to schedule you and we're going to come down there and beat you. So it's cool to see. And watching what Mike Bobo has done this year has been remarkable because, even with us, I'll just use myself. You see some plays that he calls and you get frustrated, but then you watch those plays that he calls that later add up to something that he does that works. Gunner runs the end around or the quarterback draw for almost a first down, and then they come right back, sells the crap out of it, and then just dumps it to Lucky in the end zone. You're like, that's genius.
Yeah.
It really was. And I got to throw a name out there just before I forget. Zayden Walker flashed out there too.
Yes, he
True
did.
freshman. That was great to see. As you read about these guys, you read while they're getting recruited, and they get there, and you're like, man, why isn't Zayden Walker playing? Well, he got to learn a very complicated defense. He's got 5 stars in front of him, but he got his shot in a big game, and he went out there and made it count.
Yeah, he had a big game. He really, really did.
He's the one that knocked the ball out of Arch's hand, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they recovered it. He's number 10.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he had
a
great game. Raylan had a great game because that's the first time. I mean, when TJ got hurt, that's the first time that Raylan really had to step up and lead. And thought he did a great job. Justin Williams did a great job. Chris Cole did a great job. Chris Cole. I mean, think about this. Anything that was right in the middle, out of the backfield or screen wise, Chris Cole was eating it up. It was not getting more than 4 or 5 yards. And I mean, just speed, man, and just the intelligence that defense has. And I mean, you had Branch's brother out there. Even though they called him for that pass interference, which I think was nonsense, but whatever. Ja'Cory Thomas did really good.
Guys, I think about the movie Remember the Titans, Denzel Washington. You guys seen that movie, right?
Oh yeah.
You remember the one guy that was the head coach before? He was asking him what kind of offense. He said we run the veer. He said just it's like medicine, just give it some time. That's the Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah.
That's the Georgia Bulldogs. Listen, we started out, our defensive backfield was getting wore out. The first 4 or 5 games, man, we're getting pounded for long yardage, and even the Tennessee game was horrible in the beginning. But these guys have come together, and that leads me to talk about. Did you guys hear what Chris Fowler said about the Dogs? Did y'all see that interview? Oh my goodness, y'all got to pull that up. He gave the Georgia Bulldogs the biggest compliment that you can possibly give any college team right now. And he just said that we're a team to be reckoned with. He said teams should be worried playing Georgia in the playoffs, whoever Georgia's going to play, and he was just praising the entire staff and the football players.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I'll say, Kirby talked about it early in the year of how much he really liked this team. And, I think you can see it in the way that he coaches and the things that he reacts. I mean, you look at how he acted after the onside kick. I mean, he's down there on the 25. He's pumped up. He's excited. He's chopping it up with his other coaches. Kirby looks like he's having a good time. And I think the players are responding to that, and they're playing well as well. And, I mean, you want to peak at the right time. And right now, going into the final 2 weeks of football into postseason, I mean, Georgia, I'm not saying this because I'm a fan of the team. I haven't really seen another team that's clicking like Georgia's clicking right now. I mean, even Texas A&M. I mean, if they're not playing a terrible Shane Beamer as a coach, they lose. They lose this weekend.
I wouldn't want to play Georgia if I was any other team.
No,
because you can jump out in front of us 2 touchdowns. We coming back.
Yeah,
right.
We're gonna come back, man. And I got to give it up to the coaches, man. And we see the guys. And what the difference this year is, the players are actually executing the plays that are being called, especially on offense. Okay, but you got to give it up to the coaches because coaches must coach now. Okay, with the NIL, coaches must coach. They must do everything to get those guys prepared. And guess what? Georgia is the best at making adjustments, even before they go into halftime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd hate to be in the locker room of the team who's down to Georgia at halftime. because it's got to be dire.
Well, I mean, even in that game, it was 14-3 at halftime, but it felt like Georgia had, especially when they sacked Arch right before halftime. It felt like they hey, hold on, we'll be right back. We'll be right back, and they could have came out and if they scored, on the opening drive, would have been different. But even Zachariah Branch, he's starting to flash in the return game. I mean, he ran it up to the 40. I think he had a punt that he ran pretty far back too, and then the play that he made on the little throw where he caught the curl and then just turned it up and gets tackled at the 5-yard line. I mean,
that speed, Tim, you can speak to this. That guy went horizontal and made a corner, just did a 90-degree corner and accelerated into a whole nother gear that nobody else on the field had.
Yeah.
Speed kills. And that's not only straight out overdrive speed, it's also performance speed. We know performance speed is how fast you can stop and go. Straight out, just flat speed is when you hit 5 or 6 gears, you go through them. Okay, he's got both. Not only is he quick, he's fast.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
He
pulled away from that guy like he was standing still, man.
It was crazy.
He's tough, too. That's the thing. I mean, if you think about some of the contested catches that he's made this year, I mean, especially when you're coming off last year's Georgia team and when we couldn't catch a cold, and this guy's making those catches. And, I think it's like anything. It's contagious. Like we say in baseball, hitting's contagious. When you see somebody make that type of play, you want to go out and make that type of play. And Oscar Delp's made them. Lawson's made them. I mean, Noah Thomas had 2 great catches. I mean, the one that this first touchdown to go up and catch it, you're exposed in the air. You catch the ball and you come down, and it's, so it's crazy watching the offense do what they do and still being able to run the ball.
Which one of the tight ends is it? Lucky that has a disabled brother?
Yeah, they did the story on him this Saturday was really good.
Yeah, you guys, I'm watching it on TV. So every time he would make a catch, they'll I think he scored too. They put the camera on him. Yeah. And that's motivation, dude.
Yeah.
That's motivation. I mean, he's playing for his brother, man, and almost had me in tears watching the Georgia game.
Dude, I watched the ESPN little 6-minute thing about an hour ago, and it almost had me in tears. And I don't cry at anything. Yeah. I was like, what is this watery discharge in my eyes? And I was like, wow. I mean, it was so special. I mean, the guy, after he has that 3-touchdown game, does he go out and party? No. He goes back to Atlanta to hang out with his brother.
That's right.
That's different.
And you know what? That reminds me, guys, they said, and I'm not getting on Carson back or anything, it's just we know that he really didn't live in Athens last year when he played. He spent most of his time in Atlanta. Okay. He practiced and he played, but he didn't stay on campus. But see, here you got guys, it seems like this team is much closer. There's a little more intimacy, and you got some down-to-earth guys, and especially your general, okay? Your quarterback, he's one of the most down-to-earth people that you're ever going to meet. And he's a warrior, he's a fighter, and he's strong, and he's tough, okay? It reminds me, if you guys remember that Super Bowl team when Reggie White went to Green Bay, and I think Brett Favre was the quarterback and all that. Those guys made a decision. They didn't they didn't leave the city of Green Bay during the offseason. They all made a decision to stay there, work out together, do everything together. Guess what? They went to the Super Bowl, beat New England for the Super Bowl championship.
Yeah.
I feel like Georgia right now, that's that kind of camaraderie. That's that intimacy they got. And that's why they're playing for each other now.
Yeah. Well, they have a true, like you said, they have a true general and a true leader. And to me, even if you go back to last season when Carson got hurt in the SEC championship game, the reaction from the sideline after halftime, the energy that was on that sideline when they knew Gunner was going to play was different. And again, it's not a dissing Carson Beck at all, but there's a difference when you have somebody that's the leader and you're like, hey, I'm going to follow this guy. I'm going to go down with this guy. And then you see it all season this year. Mississippi State, he gets hit to the sideline. 5 guys over there picking him up to bring him back over there. They're they're in the end zone. He's leading the team, and it's contagious on both sides of the ball. The emotion that's being shown on the offense side of the ball, the defense side, and even special teams. Peyton Woodring, when he hit that onside kick, man, that dude he fired up.
Yeah, you guys know I related to the Packers because they got that G2. Except there's green and yellow, so but yeah, man. You got to give it up. You got to fight for a guy that takes all his NIL money and buy cows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Come on, man. That's my kind of guy right there.
Well,
you know,
Tim, you really peeled back the layers right there when you touched on a word that I've never heard used in football, but it just nails it. The intimacy. That's a word that I've never heard used in this sport, but you're really nailing what it is with this team. The chemistry that they have is due to the intimacy that they have from these skull sessions that Kirby puts on in the off season, so that I can find out Tim Worley's why. I can find out Lawson Lucky's why. Lawson Lucky's why is he's going to score touchdowns so he can, shine a bright light in his brother's life, who doesn't have many lights in his life. And I think it just takes that bonding to a level that most teams can't get to.
MadDawg, you hit it right on the head. You said chemistry. Chemistry is another thing. But we've got the wrong thought when we hear the word intimacy. We always thinking of two people getting naked together somewhere. You know what I mean? But that's not what intimacy is. Intimacy is information. These men, these football players and coaches, they all know each other. They know what makes each other tick. They know how to get each other going. That's intimacy.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so you can take that to battle, man, and do whatever you want with it.
I think a great example of that, Tim, is when Zachariah Branch hit the market, right? He's in the portal, and he basically let it be known, look, it's a package deal with me and my brother. Some teams pass, some teams pause. Georgia didn't blink. They're like, oh, yeah, we'll take your brother too. Matter of fact, we can use him as a safety. Boom, now you got two brothers that are coming in here and, plugging their bond into this team on both sides of the ball. They're getting, obviously Zachariah's the star.
Right.
Deion's the older brother. Great athlete in his own right, but he's not a superstar like his brother. But you see him come in there and he makes plays. Hey, man, we're just excited for Deion as we are anybody. We get more mad when Deion has a BSPI call on him that should have never been called, because you're like, man, that's my man Deion out there. They're mistreating him. That's not PI. So
Zachariah looked like he's having fun, though.
Yeah,
he definitely does.
He looks like he's having fun, and I appreciate that.
Number 1 and number 2.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I didn't watch a lot of USC games with Branch when he played out there, but I know he was a great receiver. He was a great kick returner, because I think until he got hurt last year, he was probably on pace to win the special teams award. But I remember when he was being recruited and everybody said he was the NIL thing, and he goes, I want to be developed. It goes to show you that Kirby then saw something special in him, because you talk about a package deal. Georgia don't really get into too many package deals. They just don't. That's why LT Overton is at Alabama, because Georgia didn't want to get his brother. That's why the linebacker that was committed to us is back at Auburn, because Georgia didn't want to offer his JUCO brother. So to see something in those two, you have to be a special player for Kirby and Georgia to go out and take that shot on you. And it's paying off. He's having a phenomenal year.
To develop these guys, man. To develop, I'm sorry, MadDawg, were you saying something?
No, go ahead.
I was saying is Coach Smart always talk about, you got to buy into it, and that's with anybody. That's with any program, any coach. You got to buy into what the coach is giving you, what the university is giving you. And these guys buy into what Coach Smart is doing, and all the other coaches too, because you watch these guys improve from their freshman year all the way into the junior year or the senior year, and then there's proof. We got a ton of guys in the NFL.
Yeah.
And one team has just about all of our defensive players.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The Eagles and the Packers.
Yeah, when it comes to developing these players and really pulling on their potential, but at the same time pacing themselves with them. You know what they got. You know what position that they will work good in, and is that Lulu?
No, Lulu heard that dog though. Now she's barking.
Okay, okay.
No, it's okay. The dog is not here.
So yeah, man, just no other. I mean, Georgia's got to be the best at that, man. It's
Yep.
got to be the best. And you know what, MadDawg, Dawgologist, you don't know this, but it makes me think about basically when I had a chance to run track at Georgia and play football. You know what I mean? But Coach Dooley taught me he wanted me to just stick to football. You know what I mean? Because he knew there's some areas that I needed to develop if I wanted to be that great running back. You know what? Kind of irritated me a little bit back then, but long term, I'm glad he did that because it helped me become a better player. So,
hey, slightly switching gears. Anybody have any news on CJ Allen other than Kirby saying he's week to week?
So everything I've been told, no structural damage, should be back for SEC championship game and playoffs.
But not Tech.
If it was up to CJ Allen would play this week. But I think they say he's week to week. I think he could, if we needed him versus Tech, he could. But I personally think versus Tech, 9 and 19 are better linebackers for that type of game because of the speed and the length that they have. But
what about Chauncey Bowens?
He's fine. He might get a little burned Saturday, but if not, he'd be another one that I don't need you. I'm let 22 and 3. And speaking of Nate Frazier, man, that talk about a kid that turned it around and gives us all. I mean, I don't know if y'all saw the play on the play that Gunner threw the pick, but to see my man Frazier step up in the pocket and take on Colin Simmons 1-on-1 and get ran over. But hey, take that hit to save his quarterback, man. Talk about selfless players. That's amazing.
Yeah, he's definitely making up for that fumble against Alabama. He sucked it up. He's playing good football, man. All the running
running
backs
hard.
All of them are. So
we even saw Roderick Robinson.
He's been on special teams.
Oh, he has?
Yeah. He was.
He ran the ball. He ran the ball at the end of the game.
Yeah. And every year you have these guys that Georgia recruits that are great players in their own right, and then just an injury happens, man, and it really derails them. I mean, what's the kid from Mississippi that's at Georgia State now?
Branson Robinson.
Yeah, at Branson. And he was the greatest thing since sliced bread when he was being recruited. And again, just had 2 knee injuries. And I remember in the TCU game, I mean, Branson, the way he finished that game, you're like, Branson's the future. And an injury. And the same thing with Rod. I was super excited about Roger Robinson. And, man, just the injury bug got him. And he'll be another one, unfortunately, you might see in the portal next year because now you got 3 and you got 33 and you got 20 and you got Bo Walker that, I mean, you see a lot too. And you got Lamar coming out of Colquitt County. I mean, Georgia is the running back no matter what anybody says, find those guys.
No doubt. What y'all think of the rankings tonight?
I wanted to put Greg McElroy in a headlock because I get so tired of hearing him talking about you're setting a dangerous precedent when you let a team fall from 4 to 10 in a 2-point loss. I'm like, dude, we went from 3 to 12 when we lost to Alabama at home by 3 points. I'm like, dude, don't give me. But it
so
just
Alabama's. Go ahead.
They're 10.
They're 10. Okay,
they're 10. But the rankings to me, it's as much as everybody wants to talk about how great the Big Ten is. It shows you how great the SEC is. And we got if it ended today, playoffs ended today. Georgia, the SEC has 5 teams in the playoff. So
Wow.
I mean,
All I got to say is this whole guaranteed bid to the ACC and the Group of Five is junk. That should not be that way. Furthermore, I will never understand why when you beat somebody head to head and you got the same number of losses as them, you are ranked behind them. There is nobody that can make sense of Notre Dame being ranked in front of Miami.
And they've lost 2 games, right?
Both of them lost 2 games.
Yep.
They basically were exposed for being just flat out wrong, and they've been trying to just move Miami up a little each week to correct it. But I don't think they're going to be able to get to the point where they can move them in front of them based on the way it's stacked up now.
I agree that head to head's got to matter, but I think it also has to matter with who you lose to as well. I mean, Louisville now is not what everybody thought they were. I think they lost this weekend, and I don't know if they're in the top 25. SMU, I think, is the top 25 team. But, to me, the ACC is weak. I mean, there's just no way to say it. They're not that good. So even if you wanted to say, all right, Miami beat Notre Dame. Yeah, they beat Notre Dame, week 1? That was week 1? We're a long, long way away from week 1. So one team is progressively, I guess you could say, has gotten better, even though I don't know you can say they've gotten better because they played nobody. And the other team is kind of, falling off. So, there was a point that was made tonight that Notre Dame beat the brakes off Pittsburgh this weekend, and Miami finishes the season with Pittsburgh. So now to make that point stick, Miami's got to go out and beat Pittsburgh, who's playing pretty good football right now, by a lot of points, and they got to hope Pittsburgh can beat Georgia Tech this week.
Georgia Tech is getting disrespected. I mean, they got 1 loss. Now, granted, they didn't help themselves by having to eke out a 2-point win against Boston College,
Right.
but based on their schedule alone, and I'm
NC State
right
got them, right?
Well, here's the thing. Again, I'm a big Haynes King fan. I think Haynes King is a great player. I really like Brent Key. I think he's a great coach. I think Buster Faulkner's a great offensive coordinator. But just like we've talked about how Georgia is trending the right way, Georgia Tech has been trending the other way. I mean, you're squeaking out a win versus Boston College. I don't know who it was they played the week before that they did the same thing. They were a missed offsides call against was it Virginia Wake Forest?
Wake Forest
from losing that game for having 2 losses. So, the thing too that I do like is I just noticed because last year we played Georgia Tech on Friday at night. We played them at 3:30 this week or next week. I'm excited about that. We'll have to play them at night, and then the fact they've got to play Pittsburgh, which is a pretty tough game, and we play Charlotte, which is like 1-12 right now, 1 whatever. So that's pretty exciting that you can basically take this week and prep for them, and they've got to put in a game plan against a really good ACC opponent.
I think the spread in that's 2.5.
The 49ers.
That's going to be a tough one.
Yeah. I totally expect next Friday to be an absolute war. I will say this as a fan, I know there was a lot of people that got excited about it being in the bins. I think it's terrible. I don't know if you've noticed the difference in ticket price between being at the bins versus being at campus. Lower level tickets at the bins are $175. $175. So just my personal opinion, when you can't fill that stadium up on Friday after Thanksgiving and you're panning around the bins and nobody's there, you got nobody to blame but yourself.
Yeah.
I know Tech did it because they said they get more money from it, but I mean it's Georgia Tech. It should be played in Atlanta, at Bobby Dodd, or in Athens, at Sanford.
I got a conspiracy theory. What Pitt's coach is what's his name? Is it Narduzzi?
Yeah.
He said, bear with me. He said, I don't care if I lose to Notre Dame by 100 points because I got an ACC game 2 more in the following 2 weeks. Don't they still have a chance to get to the ACC championship?
They're there. They win this weekend. Yeah, they play I think they're going into the game. They're 7-1. They were 7-1 going into this week. So, yeah, I think they win these 2. They're there.
All right. So do you think that he spent some time on Notre Dame? He spent time, but he probably knew this is a better team that we're probably not going to have a chance to win, but really focused his time and his analyst time and his coach's time on the Tech game. Is that possible? Because strategically, that's a better move for him.
It is, but it's still like if you ask me, that's a loser mentality. I want to beat Notre
I
Dame.
agree with you, but he's trying to lose the battle and win the war.
Yeah, no, I agree, but it's I don't know. That's like asking Georgia to lose to Tech and focus on Auburn. I'm like, no, we're not losing to Tech or Auburn. We're going to beat both of them.
Right.
That's just a hard pill for me to swallow. But
look, I didn't say it was right. I didn't say it was the right thing to do. I'm saying that's what I think he may be doing.
Well, I was very bothered by that comment because I remember watching that game Saturday and watching how it started off, and I'm like, to me, it makes sense that your team shows up and plays this way because your head coach came out early in the week and said, "This game don't matter." So okay, cool, it don't matter, then we're not going to play. But they play Tech in a big one in Atlanta, and then they get Miami at home. So these two games for Tech in the next 2 weeks are going to determine. I agree with you being disrespected because Tech has one loss and Miami has two, and I don't remember what Tech was ranked. I think they were 15 or 16.
I think there were 15. Yeah, let me see.
No,
there's 16.
I don't even make sense.
There's 16 now?
Yeah, yep. Miami is 13 with 2 losses.
Oh, wow.
That's what I'm saying.
That's crazy, man.
So to walk back my comment, I agree with you. I think Tech is being disrespected, but they're definitely not helping their case of the way they're ending these games the last couple of weeks. I mean, this is probably Tech's best season that they've had in a long, long time. And I know there's nothing more they're going to want than to beat us next Friday. So
that's what I'm saying.
I'll be excited if we can make it to next Friday, knowing that Auburn's going to be Alabama's going to beat Auburn and A&M's going to beat Texas. So that way we can beat Tech down, get that rest, and say, hey, we'll see y'all in the playoff.
Check this out. I bet you I'm putting everything on Texas. Texas is going to beat Texas A&M. I think the South Carolina game was too close. They should have lost that game. Okay,
absolutely,
because South Carolina beat them up the whole game. Okay,
absolutely.
And that's why I was complaining. Like, how do you have a team down 3 touchdowns, and they come back and beat you?
And you didn't score a point in the second half at all.
Yeah.
Hey, Texas better watch out for my Arkansas Hogs this week.
Yeah,
they got talent. They're one of those teams like Florida. They can 1 week. They might show up and get it all together 1 week and beat them.
In the words of our partner Cassidy, any given Saturday.
That's right.
Oh,
it can happen, man.
That's right.
It can happen.
Well, they were talking about tonight that if Oregon loses to USC, that Oregon could be out of the playoff.
Yeah, they will because they want USC in. USC is going to backdoor their way in if they beat Oregon. You watch. They'll be 10-2.
I believe you. Well, just
then
like they were
West Coast audience. They get that Los Angeles West Coast audience they want. All right, I got to ask y'all something before I forget. If Tech beats Pittsburgh, are they in the ACC championship game?
Absolutely.
Okay. So, okay.
Yeah, because Tech.
But if they lose, they're out of that game and they're effectively out of the playoffs.
So if they lose, they got to hope that Pitt can beat Miami, and I think it's Pitt's in right now. So it's Pitt and Tech. I think are the two ends. I'll have to look at the ACC is weird, but I know Tech's in right now, and they win Saturday. It's a wrap. They're in the ACC championship game. But I say it this way: when it comes to Georgia and the SEC championship game, personally, I would love to play in that game because I think there's winning the SEC championship is the next best thing since winning a national championship because it's the best conference in football. But I just from the history I know of my Bulldogs get in that game and just say they messed around and had to play Alabama again and they lost. I could see a way they kick us out of the playoffs. It just happens to us.
So we're in the SEC championship.
No.
So
there's no way we can get in there.
Texas has to beat Texas A&M for us to be in.
Well, that's going to happen.
Okay.
I know you don't want it to, but that's going to happen.
So the way that it could happen is if Auburn beats Alabama, we're in.
Okay.
If A&M loses to Texas, we're in. So one
Texas
of those
is
two
gonna beat
games.
A&M.
Yeah. So
Where are
right
they playing
now,
them at?
it's in Atlanta.
Texas
Right
and Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing
Right
in
now,
Atlanta.
No. They're playing. I think it is. I looked at it today. It's the 7th. I think it is in Aggie Land.
Oh, wow.
What are you talking about? Texas and Texas A&M is in Texas.
Yeah. Oh, it is in Texas. Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's at Texas.
So right now, MadDawg, Tech, and Virginia are the 1 and 2.
Okay.
But right now there's 4 teams atop the ACC that all have 1 loss: Tech, Virginia, SMU, and Pitt. Everybody else has 2 losses. So Tech wins Saturday, they punch their ticket, and I think Virginia is the other team that's in right now as it stands.
Mm-hmm.
But if Pitt beats Tech, then it comes down to Miami and Pitt, I believe, for that final week.
That's going to be a fun one to watch, that Tech game.
Yeah, I think it's a 3:30 game too, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it's a night game.
Oh, it is a night game. Okay. Yep. I was looking earlier at the games this week because I know USC Oregon's at 3:30. Florida Tennessee is a night game. And then Tech's definitely a night game as well.
It would make more sense for USC Oregon to be night and Tech to be at 3:30.
I agree with that too, but some people just don't think those things through.
No, they don't.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. Oklahoma, Missouri at 12 o'clock. James Franklin's new team plays Miami at 12 o'clock.
Oklahoma better watch out for Missouri, man.
I agree. I think that.
Do they have their quarterback back?
Nope.
Nope.
No, Brule, he's still out.
Does Oklahoma have a chance to go to the playoffs, make it to the playoffs?
Yeah.
They're 8. They're in right now.
They
played a good game against Bama, man.
They would host the game as it sits right now.
Yeah. Well, they kept trying to talk about that they would take into account with Oklahoma that they didn't have their quarterback in their 2 losses. I'm like, man, come on, man. This nonsense of like who you have and who you don't have. I was like, man, y'all sound like Alabama. Well, we would have beat y'all if our 2 wide receivers didn't get hurt. Like, dude, you know how many players we played with that were hurt that year?
Well, we're in the participation trophy system. You know what I mean?
Kobe Young, our essential one, has been out the last 2 years. One, got trouble and injured. And,
Tim, you just nailed the system the way it is right now.
Yep.
The way the system is, if you are group of 5, you get a participation trophy.
That's right.
And you get to be in the playoffs. Even if you're unranked, you get to jump up there and displace a team that's way better than you to be in there, which they've got to figure that out because that's bad for TV, right?
Yep. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, Texas State gets to play.
It's ruining the sport, man.
Well, I didn't mean to cut you off, Tim. I was going to say that essentially means Texas Tech gets to host Tulane in Lubbock. Who's going to sign up to watch that?
Tulane's not bad.
The one game that I saw that they played this year, they played Ole Miss, and Ole Miss took them to the woodshed. Yeah. So, and Ole Miss doesn't really have a defense. Texas Tech has both offense and defense. I think last year it didn't end up that bad, the 5 versus 12, because wasn't the 5? Texas was the 5, and I think Clemson was the 12, wasn't they? I think I could be wrong, but or who was the Group 5 representative last year? No, because SMU got in, Clemson got in. I'm trying to think. Notre Dame was an at-large, and then I don't. There had to be a group of 5. Boise was a group of 5, but I think they got to host, didn't they?
I don't know, but Ashton Genty ain't doing too much in the pros.
No.
Well, his offensive line sucked. Okay. I watched that game last night. They were getting pushed. Listen, he's getting hit most of the time in the backfield. And I'm telling you, the kid is strong. I don't care how good you are. If you don't have an offensive line, man, you're not going to get much done.
So you think if he had a better O line, he'd be doing better?
Yep. I watched that game against the Cowboys last night. That their center got pushed back into him. Not just that time in the end zone, but on several occasions, man, he was getting whipped. And so, I got to give him the benefit of the doubt because his O-line sucks. And that leads me to ask, what happened to Zeus, man? Is he with the Raiders? Is he even in the league?
He was.
Let's find out.
I will say this. I still think Genty won the Heisman, or should have won the Heisman over Travis Hunter. That's just one man's opinion. Says he's still
with the Raiders.
Yeah, he's still with the Raiders.
And
he's not getting any play.
He's inactive.
Okay.
I don't know why.
His last game that he played was October 5th against the Colts. That was the last game he was active. But I mean, he had what was it? Last year he did pretty good, I thought. Maybe he didn't. I know it left in the play some.
I don't know, but he's inactive.
Yeah. Well, they did draft the first number 1 running back.
Well, you got they got Genty and they got Mostert too, Raheem Mostert.
Yeah. I think Josh Jacobs, when he was with the Raiders, he did a tremendous job. He's with the Packers now.
Yep.
And he just got hurt.
Oh, Josh Jacobs. He went to Alabama, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He's tough.
Yep.
Tough running back.
Yeah. Well,
he's good.
Lived out of his car with his dad when he was in high school.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I got to ask y'all, where's Lane Kiffin going?
Nowhere. I don't think he's going anywhere.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to leave Ole Miss. I think he's got it great there.
I'm in the consensus. I've tried to think about this. I was thinking, I had this thought the other night. I said, you take away the transfer portal and NIL, it's probably a different conversation because
that's right.
Then it becomes which one's better from a recruiting standpoint, and then you go Florida, LSU. But with the portal and NIL now, you can basically fix up your roster. There was somebody who was trying to make an argument last night that said that he needed to leave because he's a great offensive mind, so offensive players will follow him, but he will never be able to get defensive players at Ole Miss like you can out of Georgia, Miami, any of those things. And I'm like, brother, I don't know if you saw his defense last year, but I mean, he basically took Texas A&M's best defensive tackle and brought him over there. So I would love to see, Lane Kiffin stay. I would love to personally see him come out and make a statement right off the bat, because as a coach, I think your kids deserve that. You're the number 6 team in the country. He did
that. He did that today on Pat McAfee.
Did he?
Oh, he came out on Pat McAfee. He had Lacey on there. It's like, look, here's my running back. Things are good. Why would I leave? And then, the other stuff that's going on is his daughter's enrolled at Ole Miss. His son is a starting quarterback for the high school there. His ex-wife has now moved there, which there's all kind of, speculation about, are they dating. If nothing else, it's amicable. So you've got a family that's intact there that you would have to basically move everybody that's settled in for what? I mean,
Yeah.
you're going to get basically the same money, right?
Yeah.
I don't see the upside to him leaving. I mean, he's already got his program built there. He's going to have a puncher's chance this year to win a natty just like everybody else because nobody's truly elite.
Yeah.
Or go start over.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that.
Great campus too, man. I mean, he's in a good
Yeah.
spot. He's in a
Yeah.
good spot. I mean, but you know what though? And I'm glad he's staying at Ole Miss. But Lane, man, if they gave him all full autonomy at Florida, man, he could turn that thing around like Saban did Bama. I believe it.
But you don't think he's got full autonomy now?
Oh yeah, and he
Yeah.
has turned it around. You know what I mean? I mean, he's where he wants to be. You know, and they're just gonna get better, man. Ole Miss is a team that we need to worry about from here on in.
Yeah.
Well, I think you think about it this way too. From a coaching point, like you said, you start over. But with starting over comes new expectations. The expectations at Florida are going to be different than they are at Ole Miss. It's just going to be natural. And then you're
Same with
signing up every year. Yeah, you're signing up every year to play Kirby Smart against a team that Kirby Smart hates. It ain't like Kirby Smart likes Lane, but he hates Florida. So it was like I saw somebody say over the weekend they were talking about Sark and Kirby being friends, and they're like, Kirby kicks onside kicks versus his friends.
Yeah.
I guess he
I think I would say that
I hope
acquaintances, friendly acquaintances versus
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that too. I hope Lane stays. I mean, somebody said you only want him to stay because you're scared of him at Florida. I'm like, not really. As long as Kirby Smart's in Athens, I have nothing to be fearful of. I mean, I think Lane's a great coach. I mean, I'm not taking that away from him. I said, but it just really, if Lane makes a move, to me, it's a signal of how far college football has fallen. That you have a coach that is leaving a program that has become nationally known, that is the number 6 team in the country. They're essentially a shoo-in for the playoffs. You beat Mississippi State, you're in, and we're entertaining job offers like that. That's just crazy to me.
You're right. That's absolutely right. The grass is really still greener. And where he is right now, the grass is still greener somewhere else. That just does not make sense to me.
Well, you got to be loyal to who gave you a shot to. That's the part too. I think that heavy on my heart is Lane has grown a lot. I think we can all agree he's grown a lot from who he used to be, especially leaving Tennessee in the middle of the night to go to USC. But you have a program like Ole Miss that took a shot on you after basically you were almost blacklisted, because of what you did at Tennessee. You failed at USC, and people were willing to give you a shot because you were at Alabama. And Ole Miss said, okay, yeah, we'll bring you in. And now it's like you've risen to a level of, everybody wants you. And it's like, all right, I'm going to turn my back on the person that brought me to the dance. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see it. I just don't see it.
Well, think about it, guys. I mean, remember the talk a couple years ago and the Aggies, offering Kirby, Coach Smart. I mean, it's there. You're right. It's funny business now, man. It's all about money.
Well, I saw they said that the front runner for the Arkansas job right now is Ed Orgeron.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I've seen him in a commercial.
Yeah. He's ready to come back to coaching is what he said. So Orgeron, and then Auburn, they're talking about Auburn's going to go get Summerall. And then if Lane stays at Ole Miss, there's a lot of talk of Drinkwitz going to Florida, which I would enjoy that. I think he is my personal opinion, he's a nerdier Dan.
He's a dork. I'd love to see that dork in Gainesville.
and I just say this: he's been successful recruiting at Missouri because of laws. You go to Florida, those laws are not there anymore. So the Luther Burdens and the William McGarrys, you don't get anymore.
And
what laws are you talking about?
So Missouri has an NIL law where you can pay kids NIL in high school now. They were one of the first states to do it, but there's also, so it's like basically if you were a sophomore in high school and they said, hey, you commit to us, we'll start paying you NIL. You can commit to them and they can start paying.
Wow.
I'm sure it's a little bit more complicated than that because I think there's some states that have come alongside them now, but there was a recruiting advantage that they had when it came to NIL where they were able to beat Georgia for Luther Burden and the McGarry guy, but McGarry guy stayed 1 year and he's at Nebraska now, which makes sense. But they almost took the David Stone kid from Oklahoma because of it. And
I'm going to petition for back pay because we left a lot of money on the table back in the day.
Yeah, you need to. I'm sure there's somebody out there that would take your case.
Oh my goodness, man.
Yeah. It's
I'm
crazy
glad that
now.
didn't happen.
Yeah, it's crazy that you can get NIL in high school now.
Yeah.
That's wild to me. Like, when are we gonna get student athletes? Like,
yeah,
and that's what I've always argued. I haven't and I think I've heard Tim say this before. I'm on the side of the kid getting paid for their talent. I really am. But the fact that it is basically trumped, what they're going to school for now is what kind of blows my mind when you talk about doing right by the kid. You don't really hear a lot doing right by the kid anymore.
Right.
Well, they're not student athletes. They're professional athletes who just so happen to be students.
Semi-pro.
Yep.
That's right.
It's all transactional now. Relationship comes second. It used to be where relationships was the world's currency, right? Not anymore.
Unless you're Kirby Smart. Hence all his comments this weekend.
That's right. If you got a check with no physicality, you got nothing.
There you go.
Yeah. It's true.
Guys, we have jumped to an hour and what felt like 60 seconds. Just like we always do.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's past my bedtime, so I'm going to sign off.
Me too, fellas.
All right.
Good to see you guys, man.
Until next time.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.